Hey guys, it's Siobhan Muir. So, a few of you have mentioned while I was posting stuff on Facebook that you were interested in watching me do this sort of stuff, and I'm thinking, you really want to watch me glue stuff together? But since I've shown a few of the things that I made on Facebook and I got a lot of good comments, I thought I would continue doing this, and of course, put it on YouTube so you can watch me do it because you're watching me. Okay, so yesterday I spent a lot of time working on one of the little pieces that I was going to make, and I ended up making a little. I guess they call it a like a little table, and it's got some gift boxes in it, and it's got a drawer pull, and it's got a book on top, and then there's even this kind of top to it, and then of course there's the vase full of flowers, which if I pick it up doesn't want to stay there, so I'm not going to do that with it on it. I also made another like cloth vase full of flowers, a pen, which you can kind of see in there, and a notebook. So, there's a little sun table or that sort of thing. So that's what I made yesterday, and today, we have a few more things that we have to do before I get to the lamps, and the lamps are going to scare me. So we're going to start with the easy things. Well, easier. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to make these two boxes. There's two of them. And I'm going to make the little handles that go to them. And then we're going to work on the poster type things. And after that, I'm not sure I'm going to tackle the lamps today. They look kind of complex. I'm going to have to think about them before I do them. But I just wanted you to know that that's what I'm going to show you today. And then, just in case you didn't think I had enough to do, after I finish this one room that I'm working on, and I'll show you a little bit, but then I'm going to make my own office. And despite the fact that it shows these other posters, I think what I'm going to do is end up making my book covers and putting them on the wall, so it'll be like my office. So anyway, that's something to look forward to later. But in the meantime, let's get to the work. So they give you these little images of the boxes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them out, follow the thing, and then I'm going to score them so that you can fold easily on the lines. These bits here are going to end up being for the handles. So I have to cut them all out. I know usually I do the prep before I start recording, but I kind of wanted you to see what all you had to do. It takes a fair amount of focus, but it is kind of fun because you just follow these little lines, you cut everything out, and then you fold it, and it comes together pretty nicely. You cut it closely. Follow the lines. Yeah. So I know this doesn't look all that exciting, but that's all I'm really doing is I'm just cutting the lines. And yeah, so let me cut this out and then I'll show you what we do afterwards. Okay, so I'm back and I cut this thing out. You can see there's all sorts of detail on it, but then I have to score the lines. And then I also cut out, and they're tiny and I can't really pick them up, but on the edge of this thing here, you can see those three little gray rectangles. Those will end up being parts of the handle. And I also cut there's going to be two handles. And I cut the wire that will be for the handle. And yeah, they're all really small. But what you're going to do next is see the lines that are kind of on this. We're going to score the lines so it makes them easier to fold. I learned this the hard way. It made it a lot easier to fold when I scored these lines, because then the paper just did what I wanted it to do. When you don't do that, then things get a little more tricky. They don't have to be perfectly straight, although that does really help. But if you can get them to just fold the way you want it to, you end up with a nicer looking box. If you don't score the lines, then it's a lot harder to fold it the way you want it. Get everything over this side. Okay, so what I did is I scored every line I could find. That means even on these little white bits, score it. So then what they suggest you do is you fold all the outer edges down, right? So all the outer ones fold inward, right? So that's what I'm going to do, following the lines that I scored. See, you're going to look, and then you're going to make a smaller looking box is essentially what you end up doing. And if you want to help keep the folds the way you want them to look, take some sort of soft-ish edge and just run it over your folds. That way it keeps them, folded the way you want it to, instead of going, well, maybe I just won't fold that way today. Yeah, that's not going to work. I need you to stay down. When I did this for the newspapers, I did the same thing. And the books too. I really tried to make sure they were all folded down. Okay. So now you have this sort of look. All right. So they're all folded inward. All right. Now, what you're going to end up doing is opening them up these pieces a little bit. So you have kind of a tray looking thing. And see these little white bits? You're going to fold them inward gently, not all the way. You don't want to fold them all the way down, but you want to fold the flaps up, right? Because these are what they're going to use to secure the edges of the box. All right. Now that you've done that, fold the wider pieces up as well. All right. So you want to make the stiff sides of a box. You see how they're folded? All right. Now, you're going to end up putting glue on the outer edges of these white bits. You're going to put glue there and glue there. And then what you're going to do is glue the pieces of the box together like this. Okay? So it slides in there and then you glue them down. And then what you're going to do is end up folding these around everything. All right? I know it's a little tricky, but actually, you know what? Maybe what I'll do is I'll glue these pieces down first. Then I'll fold them up, and then we'll glue the outer edges. My glue. And I have my really high quality tool. I used this in the last video. The high quality tool here is a zip tie. It's the end of a zip tie that was cut off. And it really makes a really nice spreading tool. So you don't have to get your fingers all full of glue. You just do a really nice spreading tool. So I'm going to unfold these outer edges here. And then I'm going to put glue on the inside of this thing and fold it down. All right? And again, using the spreader tool is kind of a nice way of doing this. See? And then you spread the glue on this flap. See? Nice spreader tool. All right, and then I'm just going to close that down like that. So I folded it in there and I glued it down just like that. And try not to get the glue on every surface. All right, I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Get my nifty cool spreader tool. High quality stuff here. Can't find this in any modeling store. All right. Spread the glue and fold it down. Ta-da! Folding it down. I should probably get that out of my light so you guys can see. Folding it down. All right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to end up folding this thing up and gluing these little flaps to the inside, the white part of the wider bits, okay? It's going to be harder to see this one, but I'll try to show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to take my nifty cool spreading tool and I'm going to get myself some glue here. And, you know, always remember to shut your glue, otherwise it dries out and then you have to, you know, coerce it into doing what you want. So I'm putting the glue on these white flaps, right? And I'm going to fold this sucker up and I'm going to glue it to the inside of the wider flap, which on retrospect, maybe doing one full side at a time is better, but I'm going to do it that way. Try to make sure it's lined up as much as possible, because when you fold this sucker in, you don't want to ruin your box. So yeah, that's going to work. Okay, don't want to fold it in quite yet though. All right, then I'm going to do the same thing with the white flaps on the other side. Close the glue. Always close the glue. Okay. All right, now open this up like this and put it in there like that. And try to hold that. You can wipe off the excess glue, so it should be a little more box-like. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on these top flaps and fold them in and glue them down. So everybody just stay where they're supposed to stay. Now I'm going to do one wide flap at a time because it's a fairly wide flap and I don't want the other one to dry out while I'm fooling with it. All right, so we're going to put that right in there like that, and right in there like that. And I've glued it down on the inside. Do you see on the inside it's glued down? Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to end up with a metal looking box. Oop, I didn't close my glue. Always close your glue. Always, always, always. Okay, glue that sucker down. So then, okay, it's not square as I'd like, but then now you have a box. Ta-da! And that's the idea. So there are two of these. So we'll start with this one, and we're going to let this one dry. If the inner portions aren't quite where you want them, you can use a pair of tweezers to push them into the place where you want them, so they go all the way down, and then you get more sharper corners. When you buy one of these modeling kits, I highly recommend getting yourself some tools. Sometimes it comes with glue. This, like I said, is garbage. But all sorts of tweezers and files and brushes and stuff like that. Some needle nose tweezers, and then some little wire clippers. I totally recommend getting one of these little kits. It wasn't very expensive. I think this was like about $10 to get this whole kit, and it works really well. It makes it really helpful when you're trying to do these little kits and things like that. So, okay. So there's my first box. And I will be back with the next one cut out. Like I said, we still have those little pieces that we will put for the handle. But right now, I'm going to set this box, down, and then I will cut the second one. So I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so I got the second one all scored up. I don't know if you can see it in the light, but you can see kind of the lines where I scored the paper. And I cut out the other one. Now, I did not cut out the handle bits. They're still in their paper, but I'll get to those in a little bit. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is start folding again. So I'll do the outer edge. And you're going to want these pretty tight. Now, eventually you'll just unfold them because you have to glue stuff down. But these ones you're going to want pretty tight. This outer level you'll want pretty tight. So, all right. So I've folded all the outer levels down. I am going to glue down the narrower sides outer level. Actually, I want to fold these first. These little tabs I'm going to fold because that's going to make it easier when it comes to gluing them. All right, so then now I kind of have like a total tray. Ta-da, total tray. Okay, so my handy dandy tool here, and we're going to glue down these outer flaps right here. These two outer flaps. I'm gonna glue those down. So. That one first. And little more glue. All right, glue those two down. So then you have short sides already glued down. All right. So last time I glued both of one side of the short sides, those flaps, and then had to fold both of them together. I think what I'm going to do is do one side of this short flap and one side of this one, and then just do this one piece. Do it a little at a time. That way I won't have to try to do it. So, the nice thing about having two of these boxes is you learn from your mistakes of the last one. So now I'm going to glue, put glue on this flap here and this flap here, and then I'm going to glue them to the inside of this flap. All right, so this flap here and this flap here. All right, and then we're going to fold those up like this, and we're going to fold this up. I should have folded that first, but that's okay. And glue them both to there. So that one to there, if it'll stay. Stay. And this one to there, also telling it to stay. See, I got the flaps glued to the inside of this one. And hopefully it'll stay where I want it to stay. Makes it a little harder. I know, I have to hold it with my fingers. If you have slightly longer nails than mine, I have really short nails. But if you have slightly longer nails, you can use your nails to help hold things together and not get as much glue on your fingers. Doesn't work with me. All right. Now, so that it's not in the way, actually, I'm going to fold this one up a little bit here, so it'll stay where I want it. All right. To keep the confusion, I'm going to put glue on the big flap and fold it down, and then it won't be in my way. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to put glue on this big flap and then fold it all the way in. Then it's out of my way and I can fool with the other side. And again, use these little tweezers because they're great for getting into those corners, and they will help you get it all the way down when you squeeze those shut. And look, now we have the one side finished. See? All right, same deal here. We're going to put glue on these little short white flaps and glue this up in there, and then we'll glue the big flap. It's not that hard to make these little boxes, but of course they're nice and set up the way you need them to be. It mostly takes patience and focus. Hold that up there like that. Now, I can hold it, but again, using these tweezers, I can get it where I want it. Ta-da! And then what we'll do is we'll fold this down in there and we'll glue that down. But in the meantime, so now we got the box mostly done. We just have to glue this one flat. So I'll put that in there, and then we'll be able to start working on the handles, which is always entertaining. The nice thing is these kits often give you enough materials that if you screw up, like with the wire and stuff like that and handles, the harder parts, you can always have more to fool with. So, you know. Okay. Yay! And we have two boxes. First one and second one. So now we have two boxes. Now you have to decide which end that you don't like this much. On this box, it'll be this end. So this will be the back end. I will put the handle on this side. So what they say with the handle is it's one of these little tiny pieces of wire, and they want you to, this one's going to be kind of interesting because you have to bend it, 90 degrees from, right? 90 degrees from true. So like that, right? And you want to do, hopefully, and then you want to bend it this way. So you're going to do kind of an S curve in your thing here. because what you're going, I don't know if I like that. Because on this side, I have to do 90 degrees from true. And then we have to do it back this way. So you're supposed to get a little handle kind of like that. Hopefully. How about that? a little more like that. Yay! Okay. All right. Two things. Then you're supposed to take this wide piece of gray, right? And you're supposed to wrap it around the handle. If your handle is wide enough. Hopefully it is, right? Futz with it, futz with it, futz with it some more. Okay, and then you're supposed to take this thing and wrap it around your handle. If it doesn't keep turning while you're trying to turn it. Handy dandy thing, these little tweezers. That does not look the way I want it. It's not quite cardstock, but paper can get kind of twitchy. I know it's hard to see because it's so little, it's in my fingers. But all right, so I know it's really hard to see, but I've got the paper wrapped around the wire. And I'm going to glue it down maybe. All right, let's glue it down. I got a handle, sort of. All right, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take this thing and decide, like I said, which side you don't like as the back of your box, and put the handle on the part that you do like. That's the back. So I'm going to put it on this side of the box. Now, then there's these other itty bitty little pieces of paper, and they are supposed to, I'm going to do this in two parts. First, I'm going to glue this thing to the box. I'm going to take glue and I'm going to put it on the flat parts of the handle, and I'm going to glue that to the box. Except for that's the back, so I'm not going to do it there. And then I'm going to hold it to the box. And then what you're supposed to do is put these little tiny gray pieces of paper and glue them down as if it's been stitched into the box. or bolted in the box. It's supposed to, I'm assuming it's supposed to look like metal. So what I'm going to do is take my tool and get a little bit of glue on it, just a little bit. And I'm going to take my little handle and I'm going to slather the ends with glue. All right, like that. And then I'm going to use my tweezers and I'm going to stick it to the box if I don't yank it off when I try to move it. Okay, I'm just holding it. Oh, you're supposed to put it up. Sorry. Let's try it again. I put it in the wrong place. Good thing about craft glue, it doesn't glue lightning fast. All right. You want it near the top of the box, it turns out. Like that. Okay, well, there's a lot of glue there. I wonder if I could take one of those little gray pieces of paper and just stick it on top. And glue it. I glued it down. It worked. Okay. I think with the other one though, I'll put fresh glue in, but it actually worked. Handy dandy tweezers. Look! I made a handle. This is a, you know, gotta rejoice because otherwise, and I'm not sure I could get it. So I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of glue here so that. And then I gotta find that piece of paper. There it is. And put it on there like this. I was scared to do this. I wasn't sure I could pull it off. I will say that the hardest part was the actual handle bit. But there you go. Now it'll dry and the excess glue will, you know, fade, but there's a handle. Look, there's a handle. Whew. That was rough. I'll set that over there, let it dry so you can kind of see it. Ta-da! All right. I guess we'll do the next one. So again, you're going to do 90 degrees from true. And then if I can actually do it 90 degrees. There you go. And then this end, you're going to do 90 degrees from true. Sort of. So first you start with kind of a U-shaped. I can get my big old fingers out of the way. A U shape, right? And then you're going to do that. Hopefully. So you get something like that. Learn from the first time, right? Okay, but I had the other pieces already cut out. So now I got the handle, and this thing's gluing. And now I need the pieces. So they come like this. So basically I'm cutting out rectangles. Very exciting. It is kind of exciting though when it works. I mean, look at this. It turned out okay. I have a handle. There was much rejoicing. It's the simple things, okay? It's the simple things in life. You've got to take your victories where you can. I don't know if you've noticed, but this is the first time I've ever done one of these things. I've never actually built a miniature of any kind. It is kind of fun. I have learned a lot. I was looking at some of the other things that I did, and I said, well, next time, and I'm like, there's going to be a next time. Next time I would do this. But that's why I have another project coming. Okay, so here's the handle bit. I'll set that right there next to the wire. You can see the wire right here. And there's the handle bit that's going to be wrapped around it. This one I think is wide enough. And then these two little tiny itty bitty rectangle type pieces, which is just insane. And we trim this one, and then we trim that one. And we get the little itty bitty pieces of white paper to go away, because otherwise we'll mistake them for the gray. One itty bitty rectangle. Two itty bitty rectangles. All right. Now, this is where it gets kind of tricky, because we're going to have to glue this thing on. But first, I want to see if I can roll it first. Okay. So let's see if I can do that. And then we will hopefully wrap it around this thing. Because we already got the roll started. Hopefully that worked, right? Ah. Darn it. Well, there. Now I just have to glue it down. Okay. Hopefully. Little bit of glue. All right. Then you can kind of see it. We're gluing this puppy down. And I don't have too much glue on my tweezers. Ta-da! Handle. All right. Now, like we did last time, we're going to put a little glue on, which side is it? Should be the front of the box. Let's do this as the front of the box. So we're going to put a little bit of glue on the handle bits and glue it down to the box. Glue it to the box. I think we need a bigger box. All right. Remember to do it up near the top. If I can keep the thing from gluing to my fingers, which it's not going to do. So we will do it this way. Ta-da! Another little handle. And I'm going to take one of those pieces of gray rectangular stuff and I'm going to stick it right there. I glue that puppy down. And then we will fix the other side. Okay. Hopefully that's glued down. Stay. All right. I'm gonna add some glue to this one. Oh, or I could, add all the glue to this one. That's a bit much. The nice thing about this tool, though, is you can either add glue or you can take it away. So, little gray piece of paper, stick it on there, and hold it down. Like I said, sometimes you do too much glue, in which case you can just scrape it off. Tweezers are excellent, by the way. You're going to want them. You're really going to want them, I promise. Okay. And then you have another little box with another little handle. Yay! I was a little worried about I'm always worried about the handle type things because you have to bend the wires just so, and you kind of hope it turns out okay because there's a handle on that one. But yes, all right, 2 boxes. Now, one of the things they say is they say turn one of them over and put your plants on them, which looks like I'm going to have to glue those puppies. That's okay. I like gluing them. Well, so you're supposed to have these 2 plants are on this one. Ta-da! Let me push this back so you can see it. And of course they fall off. This one's near the front. This one's near the back. Ta-da! So, and the other one, you're going to put in some folded newspaper bits, which it doesn't tell me how to fold them, so I'm kind of like, I have to figure out how I want to do that. But, and then you're going to add, maybe I'll fold them like this and put flowers in them. Because you're supposed to add flowers in it, but you know, like if you'd wrapped flowers in newspapers, maybe I'll do it that way. That might be kind of exciting. Anyway, you put the newspaper in the box along with flowers. And there's two of these things, so newspaper. And you put it in there along with flowers, and then those sit on the back porch of this little miniature that we're making. But set those over there. All right. The other two things, there's two other things I was going to do. I will show you one of them, which is kind of like, all right. So they have these little things that are going to end up on the walls, like a framed photograph or a framed painting. And what you want, but you want it thick. See this one? See how thick it is? They have you glue 3 layers of paper plus this thing, and it makes a really nice, thick photograph or painting, you know? And I can drop glue on anything. Yay, me. Anyway, so what you do is you glue the front side of one of the images. If I can get this off my table here. And then you glue the next image, the next paper bit, to it and line it all up. So you get 2 of the same image, right? The idea here is you're trying to thicken the paper so it looks like a framed photograph, right? Because here's the color version. It'll go on top of this. So then we add glue to this, and my handy dandy tool, we spread it out so that all layers are covered, all edges. And then you take the 3rd layer and you line it up. The nice thing about this glue too is it gives you some time to line everything up. So if you don't get it perfect when you first stick it together, it's no big deal. You can just kind of push and pull and stuff before you squeeze it down. So now you have the thick 3 layers of paper. And then on top of that, you glue the color version of this image. We kind of did this in the last video with the family. I guess it's just a board that you put on, you know, kind of like the live, laugh, love sort of stuff. You find it at like Ross or TJ Maxx, stuff like that. All right. So now, once you've put it all together, you see how thick it is? It hardens, because you also have the layers of glue. It hardens into something that is really stiff. So when you stick it on the wall of the miniature, it looks like a framed photograph. Ta-da! See, this is the family version I did. That, like that board that you stick in the... There's that. Okay, and we'll let that dry. That's this thing. Let that dry. There's another one that has a rose on it, so I'll show you that. And then this one I've already done. I've already done the layer. Now what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to glue these gold beads around the outside of the rabbit picture, which might be kind of tricky. But what I thought I would do is I thought I would kind of glue around the edges. I'm going to puncture this here so that it makes it easier. Glue around the edges of this. All right, now I have glue around the edges. Now I'm going to take the gold balls here, these little gold chain, and see if I can get it to glue where I want it. Except that it's going to be difficult because it doesn't want to curl. Kind of interesting. It doesn't want to stay. It's hard to see here. It's refusing to stay. You will stay! Except that it's refusing to do so. So, either I need more glue or question is, will the beads stick more to the paper or my fingers? And am I ruining my... Okay. More glue, I guess. Let's see about... clipping that right there. Oh, make that a little easier. Just clip this one right there. A little more tricky. And then curl, darn you. I might have gotten it. Might have gotten it. Oh, I did. I got it. There was much rejoicing because it was darn lucky. I'm not even going to fool with that. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to let it dry like that because that's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's what I'm going to do. All right. So I think what I'm going to do though, since I've decided that I'm going to... These things don't stand very well. They're supposed to be little pots. But I think I'm going to... Well, that one stands okay. How about this one? Well, they stand okay, I guess. I guess I don't have to glue them down. I might. We'll see. But anyway, so we have made a couple of little outdoor boxes with handles. We made a poster or a painting. And we have, I'm not going to touch it, but we put the gold beading around this. Yeah, I'm going to touch it just a little bit. There. Gold beading around this one little painting. So thank you for joining me. It got really dark. The clouds must have rolled in. But anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration of how to make some outdoor boxes with the little painting. And yeah, anyway, I will talk at you later. Thanks for joining me. Bye.